Example 2 has a leading coefficient of 1, so we know that we can use complete the square, but it's not set up perfectly yet. Remember, we want to have the x squared and x terms on one side, but the constant should be on the other. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 6 from both sides. So we get x squared minus 44x equals negative 6. And I left some room here because I know I'm going to be completing the square. So we always take our b value, which in this case is negative 44. We divide it in half, which is negative 22, and we want to square that. Remember, if you're typing that in the calculator, the negative 22 would have to be in parentheses. You should be expecting a positive number. In this case, we get 484. So you want to add 484 to the left side, and since you added it to the left side, you also need to add it to the right side. And the whole point of this is that we have now completed a square, and we can factor this. Since it is a square, it's going to be that squared quantity, and it's always x plus half of b. Well, b is negative 44, so adding half of b, that's going to be adding negative 22. Well, I'm just going to write that as minus 22. So x minus 22, the quantity squared, equals 484 minus 6 is going to be 478. So it's set up perfectly for solving by square roots now. So we can take the square root of each side and just remember to take both the positive and negative square root. So x minus 22 equals both positive or negative 21.86. And this allows for two different equations to be solved. X minus 22 equals 21.86 and x minus 22 equals negative 21.86. We want to solve each of those by adding 22 to both sides, and you get two answers. X equals 43.86, and then x equals 0.14. And again, you can always just default to rounding to the nearest hundredth if I don't tell you, but it does in fact tell you up here to round to the nearest hundredth.